Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith with this week's market wrap up here at T3 Live. And what a week we had. And, one of the things I talk about all the time is the broadening formation. And, no matter what people think they're looking at, one of the things that I use to prove what I'm talking about is that if you can see a pattern on all time frames, then you know it's true. And so if we take a look at the SPY, can we see a broadening formation on the monthly? Well, let's go back a ways. Yes, we can. Remember the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and bam, broadening formation. That was higher than that. That was lower than that. No one can dispute that. That's what catapulted us up to here, and we'll get to that up into here. Let's go to the weekly. Have we seen it more recently? And all this stuff, you bet we have, right here. Higher high, lower low, higher high, lower lows, higher high. And now, what is this? What do you mean? We're going to see it again? Shorter term, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high this week. A beaut. If you go down to the 60, you're going to see this. All time frames. And so that's why you want to understand that this is how price discovery works. Back and forth, back and forth. Let's take a look at our 60, shall we? Yes, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, inside 60, up, hold the gap, gap and go, inside 60, triangle becomes support, and there you go. Triangle needs to grow, and it did. Let's go back to that daily for a second, and what you don't see very often is inside days twice in 1 week. So we came in Monday morning, El Boring, inside day holds the gap, and then inside day to the upside, holds, gets back to the top of the triangle. If we're going to expand it, it's going to be during a period of full time frame continuity to the upside, which means up higher than we open on the month, higher than we open on the week, higher than we open on the day. Actionable signal once again, inside day, and even coming into the bell, inside 60 back through the 210 strike. So real nice move for the SPY, and you can see that on all time frames. And so, as much as people are like, oh, I want to trade the SPY long, it's like, what's the go-to when the SPY's doing this? You know it. VXX. See you later. New all-time lows for the VXX. And so, on a percentage basis, if you want to see even this nice move in the SPY up compared to what VXX did this week, go ahead and be my guest because it just does its job, puking into the lows. Real nice stuff. So, when we look at for next week, we're coming to the end of the month, and if we go to the Dow Jones Diamonds, unfinished business. Dow Jones Diamonds stay inside day and have not completed up into here. So we want to see if we can complete that up into there and go up measured move off of this, or if that's going to dog it a little bit. Also the trannies. Tranny's an inside day here too, and so we want to see how that goes. So if we go back to the Dow Jones, remember, these equilibriums are going to help us out. So here's the trannies going inside week and up, potentially off of this weekly triangle. So trannies going to be real important coming into the new month. But in the Dow Jones, you got McDonald's going as an inside week. You got Disney's going as an inside week. You got Chevron. I'll get to the oils in a second. As an inside week, you've got Home Depot. You've got UTEX, all that kind of stuff to keep an eye on how the Dow's going. And if we go to the trannies, you got the airlines finally. Inside week for American Airlines, Delta, United, and then the rails, you got CSX. And we want to pay attention to that. Even our beloved Apple goes inside day, so for the daily. But for the weeklies, one of the things I've been talking about was when you have stuff like this SPY on the weekly, here that has done this huge move and then is coming up here to test these highs and stuff like that. The things that we aren't seeing like that, that's going to be very important going forward, is going to be stuff like the small cappers here, because if you go back on this, you'll see that nowhere near the highs. And this series that we continue to watch here, these series of lower highs, how does it get out of this? Because if this thing starts rocketing back up like the SPY, we got much higher stuff in store. What was good about today and this week, as far as the small cappers are concerned, is that you had that hammer, weekly hammer, to get it going, and now you can see it pins on the highs. Now taking a shot at that, but these kind of patterns still going to be important because you're still seeing that in FAS here, in FAS. RevStrat week, which means an inside week, poked down last week, came back up, closed in the range. We went RevStrat week, we took that out. But this series needs to change, and you're going to see that in XLE here still on the monthly basis. And so with a day to go, it looks like the XLE going to go inside on the month. And so this kind of stuff has to change. And so you've heard me talk about, instead of trying to bottom pick everything, when you see oil doing this and rallying like this, coming off the lows, and the oil stocks just barely coming up, instead of trying to pick stuff off the bottom, we go after stuff that's still on the near the highs. And today, FANG, sticking it to them inside week and up, going to new all-time highs. And so if somebody's short this oil, they're screwed. And the last bastion of strength was going to be there, took it out. And so certainly that's been something that's been on the radar for a long time, because when you have something that's doing this when oil was declining, yeah, I don't think so. Look at this, February. What do you think it's going to do when oil turns around? Yeah, me too. I think it's going up. So XRT has been the week this month, and now was weekly hammering back up. That was good. So there's a lot of talk about your bottom picking that needs to come back. That's still the laggard. We had the semiconductors really leading here for the month, and a great month, outside month to the upside. And look at these last 2 weeks in the semis. Real nice move there, but going forward, we'll see how far this oil can take us. Certainly the trannies, the financials, the oils, the Dow Jones immediately for next week to see how that goes. There's a pattern I don't talk about too much, but it was very important this week, and I want to point out exactly what those were to you. Is BABA, and BABA started out by going inside week to the upside here on this day, right here. And then on the next day, it gaps down below a day like this. When you see a day like this that gaps below, textbook kicking pattern, or as I like to say, kick them in the nads pattern, because anybody who bought through here, the shorts are just getting carried out. And anybody who's long can stay long. So when it gaps down in here, the first thing you got to do is get out if you're long. And then you want to look to reverse, because these people need to unwind this thing, which they did all day long. And if you go to the 60, once it broke, inside 60 down, closes an inside 60, pops back up Thursday, goes inside day, and look at that, almost completely recovers it. So kicking pattern down, looking short, hits the bottom of the triangle to the tick, comes back, inside day back up. You're going to see this in Yahoo here. Straight up, gaps down, straight down, bottom of the triangle, goes back inside day and takes it all out. And so when you see something like that, you certainly want to be aware of it, because it's a very powerful pattern. You don't see it very often, because it's not often things go from strong to weak or weak to strong that fast. But when they do, you want to be prepared for that and know how to trade it. So going forward, pay attention to that. So good week for the broader averages, but we're going to be watching those inside days and inside week combinations in the Dow Jones Diamonds. Certainly inside day, and if the trannies can start to pick up the slack, if we start to see oil soften or just consolidate, that might be something for the trannies, because we've been weak in those airlines. Want to see if they start to firm up. If the small cappers continue their drive back, and like I said, we got a new month coming, so we're going to watch those. Certainly the trannies, diamonds, XLE in the new month, how these financials continue to act on the potential rate hike, and that's going to do it. So it was a nice week if you knew what you were doing. All right. I'm Rob Smith of the Elect VTF here at T3 Live, hoping everybody has a wonderful and safe weekend. And thank you to everyone who's ever served in the armed forces, who is serving now, and who will serve in the future. All right, everybody have a great weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday morning.